What is up, guys? Choose Wife here with another episode of a convention review. So, we recently went to Fanboy Expo in Nashville, Tennessee, and we met a lot of cool people. We found some really interesting things, and we got some stuff signed. So, just like last time, we're going to talk a little bit about who was there. We're going to talk about what we got signed and what we got there, and then an overall view of the convention. So this was one that was a lot for me. I'm going to be completely honest because we on my list was to meet Christopher Lloyd before untimely things occur in life. And he's going to be 84 in October, guys. Like, let's just be honest. Like, he's getting on up there in years. So I needed to meet this man who was an actor in The Addams Family, in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and in, of course, Back to the Future. So we made the trip up there and we got to meet him. So that was awesome. Some other big names that were there: Adasa, who's the voice of Dolores in Encanto. We had Keith David, who is Dr. Facilier in The Princess and the Frog. There was multiple anime voice actors there, multiple voice actors from Avatar: The Last Airbender, the original series, and multiple wrestlers, content creators, a little bit of everything again for this convention. But what else do you want to add, Sweet Pea?
It was really easy to go around the first day, so it was really fun. Last time we actually only stayed for one day. This time around we did the weekend pass, which was, in my opinion, a lot better. We took our time, and it was really nice to see a lot of. This convention was, I guess, smaller compared to GalaxyCon, so it was nice to see things and actually being able to feel like we were able to walk around and not be so crowded.
Yep. So without further ado, let's get into some of the stuff we got signed. So first, let's talk about Kevin McNally. Sweet Kevin McNally played Mr. Gibbs in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. He was hilarious. He is lovingly British. He signed My Little Mr. Gibbs. It says, "Take what you can, give nothing back." And that's one of his favorite lines from the movies. I thoroughly enjoyed meeting this man. We got to listen to one of his panels. He's also a published author. We did not get one of his books, which is a little bit of a regret, but I will probably end up getting one eventually. He's into sci-fi. He's gotten into directing some, but he's just very down to earth, very nice, and he borrowed some hand sanitizer from us, which was funny. Another person that we met. So we met Lucy Christian. We'd already met Lucy Christian once, and I got my poster signed from Oron. But that was before Honey Senpai had his own pop. So I had to get my Honey Senpai signed. And she's so sweet, so personal. She's very talkative with her fans. She wrote on my pop, "It's just you and me, Usa-chan. Everyone else is too busy, Lucy and Honey." And she drew little flowers on it. And it's really sweet, and I love it. So enjoyed meeting her again. She's always really lovely. We got to hear her speak as well, and she talked a little bit about how she actually got out of the game for a little bit to take a break to raise her kids. She has 2 girls, and that's totally respectable. And then she got invited by Ian Sinclair, who's the voice of Whis, to be in, well, not to be in, but to audition for My Hero. And she's like, "I don't know, gotta raise my girls, kind of busy." He's like, "You're Lucy Christian. Come read for the part." And so she came and read and ended up with the part of Okocho. Already mentioned him, but I gotta show ya, Dr. Facilier from The Princess and the Frog. We love this movie. It's such a good Disney movie. The music is great. The characters are amazing. The storyline's good. It's based on a series of books by E.D. Baker that I love called The Frog Princess. and very loosely based because it really has nothing to do with the way that Disney portrayed it. But I still love the story. I love the characters, and I love Dr. Facilier and his friends on the other side. And that's what he wrote on ours. He said, I've got friends on the other side, La Keith David. So, gonna go through some of the Avatar characters we met. So we met the voice of Mai. She was lovely. She was so adorable. Her name's Cricket Lee. She wrote, "Please tell me you're here to kill me," as our quote. And Chu and I typically enjoy doing quotes on our pops. We talked about a little bit about this with the last video. We enjoy quotes because they're relatable. They make us think of the show. They're all like, they make us smile. And you know, we kind of hear it in our heads when we read the quote. So that was Mai. Sokka. So Sokka, the voice of Sokka, was there. He was sweet. He wrote on there, "Boomerang, you do always come back," and drew a little boomerang. Because why not? You want to talk a little bit about you meeting him, honey?
I enjoyed meeting him out of the whole squad because to me he was like the most relatable. And I also, when I saw him, I remember back in like the day I saw some behind the scenes stuff where he had longer hair, but now that I think he's about the same age as me or maybe a little older, he actually looks like, Alfred Molina did in Spider-Man 2. And I actually told him that. He's like, I felt weird telling him that, but he's like, you're not the last person that said that to me. Many people have said that. And I was like, oh, good. I felt a little better about it. But it was just like, I wonder if he ever had gotten that compliment. You think that's something weird, but sometimes it leads to an interesting conversation, and that's what happened. And so we also found out that his dad was an actor. So he kind of branched out to a story. So sometimes being a little awkward does pay out. So you get a little story with it sometimes. So he was my favorite out of the Avatar bunch.
Continuing on with the Avatar bunch, we met Jenny Kwan, who's the voice of Suki. And she wrote, "The Unagi is going to eat well tonight." She was super lively. You cannot deny. She was very lively. It was kind of cool because she had some merch at her table that was like of the Kyoshi warriors. And there were girls dressed as Kyoshi warriors walking around the convention. Not something you see all the time, but very nice to meet her. She was very sweet. She had her husband there. They were pretty funny. So that was Jenny Kwan. This one is tough. So this was Jessica Flowers. That's her actress name. She has another name that she goes by. Her name's Michaela, I believe.
Yes, it is Michaela Jill Murphy. I don't know why I remember that name now, but
yeah. But she goes by Jessica Flowers for acting purposes. She said, "Keep your knees high, twinkle toes." This is when Toph is teaching Aang about earthbending. She was very nice as well. Everyone from the Avatar group were all very nice, but I do agree. I really enjoyed meeting Sokka. He was super lively, super fun, and worth meeting. And we got to see them all on a panel at once. They were interesting together. The only thing we were missing was Dante Basco at that one, and it would have been so hilarious. But some good stories from them. Last but not least, from our Avatar group was Ty Lee, and she wrote, "My aura has never been pinker," and she was really, really sweet. She said that she didn't even realize Ty Lee was a villain at first when she was voice acting her, because they don't know the storyline, so they just get a script with some of the lines on it and everything, and she's not overtly like villainous. So I can see where she would think, oh yeah, just a really nice, perky, peppy girl. Which is funny because you think about Ty Lee. I mean, she's pretty bad A character. Her and Azula and Mai kind of kick some butt. So We met quite a few from Avatar, and it was worth it. It was a lot of fun, and I'm really happy that they gave us quotes on those. It, like I said, it makes it more personal for us. And of course, I cannot go without showing you my Christopher Lloyd signed Uncle Fester and Emmett Brown. I had a really hard time deciding what to get signed from him. He was not doing quotes, but you could tell his hand was a little shaky when he was doing his signature. It really warmed my heart. When he got up to talk in front of everyone, um, and Chu and I talked a little bit about this together. There was a general understanding from the audience that if he didn't answer a question right, you just accepted it and you smiled and went on. He would get a little confused during some of the questions, or he couldn't hear well, or he would get off on a tangent into another realm, or he would just pause for a really long time and forget the question, and no one cared because he was just such a genuine human being. You just enjoyed hearing him talk. You just enjoyed having him up on that stage, like smiling around at people. Um, it was a very memorable experience. I wish I could have got quotes, but at the end of the day, that would have been a lot on him. He wasn't extremely fast as is, but I don't know what man in their 80s would be. Um, he hinted at the fact that he'll be in this next season of The Mandalorian, which we all were a little excited about. I'm sure you can understand. And he also said if they did a live action Rick and Morty, he would definitely be open to either playing one of the characters or doing like a crossover episode between Back to the Future and Rick and Morty. And he's like, and I'd be willing to play two parts. So that was really cute. Any comments there, sweetie?
No, I think you pretty much summed that up. I mean, it was just wonderful to see someone his age still be very much involved with, the community that is Back to the Future and the Adams Family. Just to name a few fandoms here. He's done a lot. He's been in a lot of things, and he's still working, and that's something that will I think both of us will always appreciate seeing someone who me and just a quick little backstory, not to deviate too much. Both me and my wife, we both worked at a retirement home, and we saw people that are like maybe 10, 15 years younger than him be in worse like health. So to see him being in the health that he was, walking around, yes, he was kind of forgetful, but just to see him being able to move around is just admirable and very humbling to see him. Even when we were getting those things signed, my wife was like fangirling a little bit, which is understandable, but he may not have spoken too much, but he said something really sweet to us, and he was like, "I'm honored to be here." And it may not sound like a lot, but hearing it from him, it felt genuine and it felt really sweet. And it was great to be able to actually see him. A star like him, you would never think you'd meet. And so when you're able to have this opportunity, it's a little surreal, and it's nice. It felt really good to be able to meet someone and like him, who in the movies has always played great characters, and you realize, in real life he's actually still a great person. So it was really nice to be able to have him there.
So that's all we got signed, except for we got a print from Adasa. She doesn't have a Funko yet. We're really hoping that soon she will have a Funko. There's quite a few characters in Encanto that don't have Funkos that probably should, but that's neither here or there. We're hoping that we'll get another one and can meet her again because she was wonderful. Honey, you want to talk a little bit about Adasa?
Well, for me, for her, well, excuse me, for my wife, Christopher Lloyd was the person she looked forward to the most. I love Christopher Lloyd, and then meeting Adasa as well, it was kind of like an unexpected surprise to see how much, especially me and her, connected in the sense of our backgrounds. I'm Hispanic, she's Hispanic, and though for a lot of people, they don't may not care, but it does matter sometimes, and in this case it did, where we see someone that's where you see a movie that represents family. Hispanic culture is, it's difficult. It's something, but to see a movie like that, and Disney's general direction nowadays is family, so you see that, and it's relatable to everybody. And to see how nice she was, like she was the real life Dolores. She was sweet,
She cosplayed as her character.
yeah,
She
and
talked about how her kids enjoy different fandoms as well,
mm,
and how she gets stuff signed for them to take home because she has 7 kids.
yes,
So, like, her and my husband were speaking Spanish to each other. And when we got to listen to her panel, she did a sing along with us in the audience. Um, just a genuine, wonderful human being who likes to see happy people.
yeah, and she seemed very happy. And she even went out of her way to go to the children's hospital, I believe Saturday, to actually see some kids, and
In costume.
in her costume. So imagine that, waking up early, and
Before a convention.
before a convention, exactly, before a convention, going to go see some kids to try to make them feel better, and then going to see adult kids and actual kids at a convention, and making people even happy there. I mean, that's something admirable as well. So really, meeting these people, like this convention, and overall for me, I'm just kind of going into my thoughts now, has been wonderful. Everyone that we've met was, very sweet, very nice to us. We
Humble.
humble, no bad experience whatsoever, honestly. And this was a smaller convention in comparison to GalaxyCon,
But
and
it still wasn't that small.
exactly. Well, it's just
There were people from Little House on the Prairie. There were wrestlers there. There were, the voice of Flick was supposed to be there. I didn't get to see him, but he was also in Sky High.
mhm,
There was a lot of people there, and they had them pretty well spaced out.
mhm.
But like it still felt smaller and more intimate than GalaxyCon Raleigh for some reason. And again, maybe that's because the first day, that Friday, it was reasonable. We were able to walk around and see everything we wanted to. I'm going to go a little bit into the stuff we got that wasn't signed or anything. But yeah, since we deviated a little bit, the convention, I really enjoyed this one a lot. It's been one of my favorites probably ever.
That's a bold claim to make, and I don't disagree with you. It's something that we both weren't expecting. It was, I know, on paper it was a lot of people, and it was very spacious in that regard, and overall, just it was great. We got to meet everyone almost entirely in one day. Got to talk to them and everything, and I appreciate that. I really appreciate, and then them talking to us. It was just nice, really. The panels were great. Uh, the interaction was fantastic. So
Everyone was respectful. It was
yeah,
good.
everything was. It just felt what it should be.
Mm-hmm.
So, not dissing on any other convention, just saying that this one
It was awesome.
was great for us. Yes.
So just gonna, I guess we'll end this off with the things that we got,
Yes.
like at some of the booths. So our guy was there again, who we see every convention. But I got to finish out my collection. I found a Rory and a Lorelai Gilmore for my complete collection set of the Gilmore Girls Funkos. So those will be going up on the wall at some point when we get our shelves up. My hubby got me a cousin-it because, funnily enough, it's one of the voices that I did early on in our relationship. When I was doing funny voices, I'd put my hair in front of my face and go. And so I didn't have a cousin-it. I have Wednesday. I have Uncle Fester, obviously. I have a Gomez and I have a Morticia. So the only one remaining on here is Pugsley that I don't have. I also got a really pretty Jasmine because she's pretty and I wanted her, and I love Disney princesses and I have a Disney room, so she'll go in there. We've already met Linda Larkin, so she won't be getting signed, but that's completely fine. I still thought she was really pretty in her red. And then hubby got. You want to talk about Gray a little bit?
So I have been looking for this Funko online. Uh, in a couple of weeks, we'll be going to another convention.
Shocker.
Yes, and this should be the last one for at least a month or two. And so I had to get this Funko. This is my favorite version of Gray. I love it. So saw it. I think it was only like $20, and
27.
Yeah, oh, 27, whatever. And so I had to get it.
And we're going to do your little Power Rangers collectibles. Found him for $10.
Surprisingly.
And hubby's a huge original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers fan. And he found himself
A dragon dagger, which
it
it doesn't work, but I had to get it.
Don't worry, I'll make sound effects for it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And finally, I got 2 books. I guess that's kind of my new little blurb here. From Cora Masters and Leah Davis. 2 romance books from indie authors. Again, I love romance indie authors. Love meeting them at conventions, getting books signed from them, and discovering something new. So if you have any interest, look up Coven's End, the complete series by Leah Davis and Lane Anderson, or Corrupt Games by Cora Masters. So I'm going to give these a shot soon. And that is about all we have. We've talked a lot. We've given some good thoughts here about Fanboy Comic-Con in Knoxville, Tennessee. And I think that's all I have, darling. Anything else?
I think that's it. I love this convention. Again, gonna repeating myself here, but I really do. Hopefully next year they have a great lineup as well. I think this is the first time we're going back since COVID. Well, I could be wrong. I'm not sure, but we went previously. Like I said, it's kind of a blur because we went one day and we tried to do too much that day.
It's when I met Wesley.
Yes, so she was able to knock out 2 of her big wig names that she's always wanted to meet off of there. Hopefully next year it can be the same way. I am pleasantly surprised of the lineup that this was this year. Hopefully next year it is a completely different lineup. Hopefully it's a one that I look forward to. I've seen some names previously of who's come, so hopefully names like that can arrive to this convention. So hopefully we are able to make the drive back there. Knoxville is a beautiful city. We went this time actually to stay there, and I have no complaints. It's a very nice thing. We were able to go do some shopping.
Get some good food.
Get some really good food, and like I said, we will hopefully be back next year to see Knoxville's Fanboy Expo, and hopefully enjoy the things that we found there. So yep.
So I guess that's it for us tonight, guys. As always, give us a like, comment, subscribe. Tell us something that you want to see us see at a convention. If you have some suggestions, if you have conventions that you would love to see us try to get to, or if you have comments about any convention, or this one if you were there. But as always, stay safe, and we will catch you later.